All right, so welcome to the first installment of ABM Stories. Thank you, Mahlia, for being our first volunteer.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I'll just lay down kind of a little why we doing this to it all. So we just wanted to be a little something that any current ABM scholar or National Merit Scholar can look into, get a little insight, inspiration, maybe a little pick me up. Because we both know it's a tough process to not only get the scholarship, but to succeed in college and thereafter. So just want to share our story a little bit of history, and kind of see that, yeah, that we do have a future. We all can make great things happen. So today, our first guest is Miss Mahlia Neely. She was my co-ABM winner in 2019.
Yeah, 2019. Six
Wow.
six years now. Oh no, we're
Wow.
getting old.
Almost a decade ago. Had the ceremony at Governor General House there with the Bahama now. All right. So I guess we just start off and I'll let you take the floor. I guess by way of introduction, I know you're a QC graduate. You went to Vassar College and your primary study was English and and you did some more in grad school at Columbia and now you're working in LA. Yeah, so clean that up for me a little bit and dig down into what you got going on now.
Okay, I all started and I was born in no, I'm joking. But yeah, no, I was born in Nassau, Bahamas, grew up there. Like you said, went to QC from grade 7 to 12, graduated in 2019. That's also when you and I received the ABM scholarship 2019, and I headed to Vassar College, which is up in Poughkeepsie, New York, because I really wanted to experience snow. Go in the Northeast USA. Um, was there for 4 years. I got a degree, Bachelor of Arts in English, with a minor in Spanish. And then I worked for a bit here in LA, and then I went back to New York, but now New York City, um, to Columbia to get my master's in English and comparative literature. And I graduated this year, May 2025, and it was only a 1 year program, so super quick and intense. And I'm now back in LA working at a film production and distribution company here. Yeah.
Got you. Any no sneak peek spoilers you could give us on works coming out?
Oh my gosh, yes. I mean, the company is partly founded by a Bahamian filmmaker, Kareem Matamor. So, we had a movie, Kidnapping Inc., that was showing in the Bahamas recently. But starting December 11th, another movie that the company co-executive produced called To Live and Die and Live. It's like a
Okay.
Sundance Film Festival
Oh, so
movie.
it'll be a part of that film festival coming up.
No, it will be in at Fusion Superplex showcase.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So go see it
yeah,
now.
maybe we get
So
lots of
going.
eyes on it then.
Yeah, lots of eyes on it,
Mm.
hopefully. And I'm coming home actually on the 16th, so I'll be seeing it in theaters too.
Okay, very cool, very cool. Red carpet moments.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
okay, cool. So let's pull it back a little bit. And since probably some people who are going to be applying for the scholarship may see this interview, what do you think were some of the benefits looking back when you were in high school of getting a scholarship and kind of talk about like maybe your mind space, like about to apply for it, maybe some of the additional preparation you did?
Right. I mean, a lot goes into it. I mean, the preparation starts, I guess, really early, especially since it's a merit scholarship. So you kind of have to, be working hard in school and your extracurriculars, etc., to kind of build the portfolio that they're kind of looking for the scholars. In terms of the application itself, I do have to think back. I remember the main part that I had to put a lot of effort into was the essays. If you recall, I think there were two essays, one about like your journey as an ABM scholar, or not as an ABM, but as a scholar in general, and why do you think you might be deserving of the scholarship? And I think there was another one about, do you remember if there's another one?
I think it had to do with like your vision for the Bahamas or something you like to make big change because that's the one they put in the booklet, like when we
Right.
won. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I need to find that and reread what I wrote.
Yeah.
But I remember putting a lot of effort into those, lots of drafts, sending it to family, friends who like I know are good at writing to get their feedback on what I said. I remember trying to make it interesting. Like for my journey, I kind of made like a metaphor of like a highway and like
Hmm.
a highway and lows and then like the side alleys is my extracurriculars. I tried to make it a little bit interesting because things like that can get kind of easy to be kind of just like kind of boring, like just saying like your life and your story, um, and like your grades, etc. So I tried to make it a little bit interesting to kind of myself apart. Um, and yeah, so that was my application process. I did do a lot of preparation for the interview too. I remember the day before, my mom helped set up a whole mock interview with some of like my aunts and stuff. I walked to the
Oh,
room
nice.
with a whole table and they're all there asking me questions and that was really useful. I mean, of course, it's good to have a good support network who helps with that, but also it's something that you can do on your own if you don't have that. Like come up with
Yeah.
questions that you think that they're going to ask you and just prepare that way. That was very helpful because during the interview itself, a lot of those questions came up and I had already thought
Right.
about them, got practice answering them and got feedback on what I can kind of say better. So
How
that was
how was
very
that
useful.
when you were sending like your essay to get proofread? Because I find that myself, like I feel a bit, I guess I feel a bit vulnerable, also a little scared to like share the essay. How was that experience for you?
For me, it was I agree that's very vulnerable, but because I've always been into writing and like I am an English major, etc. So I think at that point I was a little bit used to people reading my writing, exposure therapy. I had already gotten used to that. Um, but it is vulnerable because you're sharing kind of your story and sending it to someone to read to kind of give their feedback on would be kind of vulnerable. So I'd suggest sending it to someone that you trust. Like for me, that was my sister. She's like works in marketing, so she's a good writer, but she's also my sister, so I trust her. And so I sent it to
Okay,
her and she gave me her
right.
feedback. So find someone who you trust and who you think has good writing skills and can give you both those things at once, I'd say.
Very cool, very cool. And that's such a cool story to say like your mom got thinking back, that is a good idea to do like a mock interview setup. And if I was to tell myself like, oh, Dehron in 2019, that was a good advice. So, but in terms of now, like picking your colleges, and you talk about you were the English major, you had a history in English. What advice would you have to Mahlia from 2019 about like choosing a major or identifying schools too?
Um, I want to tell myself, I think I wouldn't change my major. Um, Maybe I would suggest to myself, maybe think about what exactly I want to maybe like minor in or double major in to give myself a lot more options. In terms of schools, hmm, I would maybe tell myself to think a bit, not bigger. I'm happy with the school I went to and the schools I applied to, but there was a part of me that certain schools that I was kind of interested in that I was like, oh, I'm not going to get into that, so I'm not even going to apply. And I think that's something that I would be like, hey, try it. Like apply to the school with the 0.1% acceptance rate. I mean, who knows? You might be the 0.1%. So I would tell myself to kind of not hold back on some of the things I was interested in and wanted to apply to.
Very cool, very cool. And you went to Vaasa in upstate New York.
Yes.
I also got that experience. I was a little further south in Ithaca, in the Greeks, what I like to call it, Ithaca, Syracuse. So, what was the first day of college like? Or let's start even before that. Like, what was like, okay, I'm going to college, go to the fields.
I think I had mixed feelings. So I was definitely excited. I feel like at that point, like it's kind of like you're just ramping up. You know, you're gonna go to college, so it's just kind of the next step. But I remember just being very nervous. Like I also was the only, I think you might relate to this. I think we had this in common. I'm not sure that I was the only Bahamian in my whole school. So
Hmm.
I was like, oh, no one even there to relate to me culturally. Like I go into this place, snow and people. I don't know. Um, so I was nervous about that. I didn't know anyone there. It's a super small school too, like 2,000 people or something, I think, total. So yeah, it's just a lot of unknowns. Didn't know what to expect. Something I am grateful for is that I'm not a big journalist or like that. I keep a journal, but I don't write in it often. But I was writing in my journal in those first days of school, like, oh, I'm in school. My parents left me today. I am back home, and I made it myself. So sometimes I do read the things like that. I was really going through it, like I was. But I feel as if I was talking to my friends and family back home. Friends who are going through the same thing at their schools, talking to them was helpful. Going to the different things they had, like international students first meeting and all these different like things they have during like your first week, like resources. That was helpful in helping me feel connected. And a lot of friends I made were like I met in those like first weeks at those like school sponsored events to help people kind of build community. So that was nice, I'd say.
Very cool. And as you started to, hit the first semester, second semester, did you run into any periods where like, oh, I don't know if English is for me, or was it a reinforcing experience like, oh, I definitely want to do this? Or is it you remember a particular point where you're like, I could see myself doing this for a long term?
If I was always interested, like set with English because I know I really love writing and editing, and I think storytelling is really important. And I think like in any field, being able to communicate is super important, whether you're communicating to advertise a product, whether you're communicating in a presentation, or whether you're communicating in a like a legal document. Like I think it's just super important. So I always knew I wanted to do that. I think the thing that I was thinking was whether I wanted to double major in something else to
Mm.
kind of give myself more options. So I remember my father in particular was like, "Oh, just cast a wide net." So I remember that first semester I was taking English class, a Spanish class, econ class, even though I was like, I don't want to be an economist, but I'll take this
Economist.
into the econ class because, why not? It's my first semester. It's a liberal arts school. It's supposed to explore. And also, it's good to know how, I guess, the economy works if you're going to live in this world. So, yeah, so I'd say I was just sad about English, but also I was keeping an open mind to see if anything else can be in addition to that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get in that open-mindedness you had in college. Could you speak to like maybe some key characteristics of your college experience that you really missed, or maybe something that really helped you to grow?
Good question. Uh, Something that like I said, like going to a liberal arts school where there aren't so many requirements and you kind of be able to explore different fields as you want. I kind of do miss that kind of opportunity just to learn about so many different things. And I kind of wish, or I think I should adopt that kind of curiosity more now. Because they're like the world's at our fingertips. Like I have the ability to learn about so many things, but I just get so caught up in day to day and work. And so I kind of lose that curiosity about economics and
Yeah.
religion and all these different topics I used to be learning. Um, because I just kind of get stuck in the day-to-day mundane life. So that's one thing I really appreciated about college, like the curiosity and the open-mindedness to learn just for learning's sake. Not even just for a degree, but also just to learn to learn. I think learning is valuable in and of itself. Um, Other things, I really learned a lot about like interpersonal relationships, like having a
Mm.
roommate in the same room, from
You,
somewhere you
and
never even heard of before, like different
yeah,
cultures, just being able to communicate with other people and commune with people who have so many different experiences than you do and different beliefs, different ideals, and be able to coexist, I think is really important in today's society. So that was also a really valuable lesson I learned.
did you have a roommate all 4 years?
No, thank goodness
Oh,
not. I had one my first year. But my first year got cut short because of
Right.
the pandemic. So I had one my first year, and then well, I left like we all left like March 2020, and we came back August 2020.
Right.
Then I was supposed to have a roommate, but no one ever showed up, so it was just me.
Oh, okay. Very
Yeah,
nice. Had the jingle experience.
yeah. Too bad.
Yeah.
One person. I'm like, okay, party.
Good. So I guess hot question, how was the food?
Oh, okay. The food, I feel like I'm not very picky. I did feel like the food was okay. Especially the dining hall food is pretty good. They had some grab and go options. Those were not good. Like when you
Mm,
just go and grab and like they had sandwiches with just chicken and no condiments and no lettuce. It's just chicken and bread. I'm like, I'm
let's
not eating
try.
this. Just exactly. But the dining food itself had some good food. Like they had some I really like they had this section called like Global Kitchen, where they had like a different
Okay.
food for different culture and it was like made to order. That was
Yeah.
really good. Um, but yeah, I remember college was interesting. It wasn't all like rainbows though. I remember the first couple, like even year, I felt like very lonely. I felt like I didn't have a lot of friends. I couldn't find people that I really gelled with. And but I feel like that's kind of my personality in general. Like it takes me a while to find my people sometimes.
Yeah.
And then there was COVID, and then it was like, so it was
Yeah.
a lot. So I made friends like slowly but surely. So honestly, I feel like I didn't make like my good group of friends until like my junior year because I went to Spain, study abroad,
Right. Okay.
and the people I met there who went from Vassar, who I didn't know but just went on the study abroad program with me. We all became really close, and then we all came back, and then I had some friends. But it was really rough for like a while because I felt like I didn't have friends. I didn't, no one else from the Bahamas for me to talk to and relate to. Um, but in those cases, I kind of just like, and it's also easy to kind of think it's you, like, oh, am I not
Mm,
likable? Oh, is it me? Why is everyone else connecting with people? But I think sometimes it's just good to give yourself grace. Connect with people you know from back home or wherever, and also continue making an effort going out to the clubs and going not the actual well you can do that if you
school
want.
clubs
I
there.
meant the school clubs,
Clubs.
organizations, math club, etc.
Right.
Um, and so meet people with similar interests as you.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Very cool. And the thing about it too, I don't know if you noticed it, but something I noticed, especially being in the Northeast with the true winter, is like that seasonal depression really hit. And I think it was when we came, no, it was the year after COVID. Um, when I came home for Christmas break, I was like, wow, I feel so much happier in the Bahamas. And then, but I realized, like, yeah, it's really different. That sunlight. You had
Exactly.
a similar experience?
Uh, I feel like in undergrad I didn't feel that as much, but I did feel that recently when I went back to New York for my graduate studies. I felt that a lot. I was like, oh, I miss the Bahamas, I miss LA, I miss all these places that are warmer. And I also remember feeling like I felt like I didn't have an option. Like if I left the house, I was cold and sad. But if I stayed inside, I was sad because I was just inside all day. So I didn't know what to do. I couldn't leave or
Right,
stay.
right.
Um, but yeah, it's definitely a different thing going from like a warm environment to somewhere that's cold in the winter. Um, yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah, true. And I guess you could transition to now. It's like when you could speak to when you were in college, and also now, like how you went about kind of setting maybe a direction. Like once you firmly established, okay, I'm an English major. Maybe coming up on my last semester. How you kind of went about, oh, what's next?
It's always the question, right? What's next? I kind of thought about my skills and my desires and thought about different avenues that kind of was like the joint between those two things. So know I really liked editing and writing. And I studied English, so I had all these skills in editing and writing and, thinking critically and reading critically. So I was thinking about careers that in which those would be useful. And um, I then wrote those down and wrote those ones that I felt I was interested in, and then applied from there. So like for me, I was like, okay, maybe I can be an editor, maybe I can be like an educator, maybe I can work in communications and advertising, like all these different options. And then I kind of cast a wide net in my applications, like for jobs and stuff in those different fields, and um, took it from there. But I think it's important to think about what you want to do. There's so many things to consider when you're wanting to like think about a career, like desired salary, what you want to do, your skills, where you want to be geographically. Um, I feel like there's so many things to consider, and you can't always get every single thing on your list. You have to like think about your priorities on those things and decide from there. But it's definitely always like a moving process. And also, I'd like to reiterate too that I mean, you're making these decisions when you're 18, deciding what you want to major in, then you're 22, deciding what you want. You know, you're still very young, so there's always room to pivot and change your mind and take the skills you learned and maybe apply them to a whole different career that you didn't even think about before. Life is so fluid and never feel as if you like stuck in a box and you can't try something new. Yeah.
Words of wisdom from our
Thank you.
scholar. I
Hey, I
think
just
something
remembered
too.
at
Yeah.
one point I have to interview you because you can't just do interview everyone. Someone has to
Oh,
interview you too. I think it should be me.
sure, sure. Okay, yeah. I'm down. I'm down. Thank you for it. Um, and I guess, oh, one thing I experienced was like, just like you say, like, it's a predominantly white school, no other Bahamians. So everyone else, when they were talking about looking for jobs, they were just like looking in state or maybe like back home where they was from. When I was looking for jobs, I was like, it was a good thing I could go anywhere, but it also was a bad thing. Like, I felt like it was too many options at times. How did you approach that challenge to kind of narrow down what exactly would fit for you?
That's a good question. I feel as if I was more so interested in staying like in some of like the major cities. At the time, I was more so interested in staying in the major cities on the East Coast, especially because I was more so thinking about working in publishing, and that's really like a New York East Coast thing. So that kind of the career I was looking at the time really narrowed it down geographically for me at the time. So that was made it a little bit easier. But I also know I didn't want to live in like Iowa, middle Ohio. So I was like, okay, let's do the geographical search to like Chicago and Boston, New York, stuff like
It
that. I
was,
was also looking,
yeah,
this is like my imaginary map. Yeah.
okay, very cool. And I guess you could speak to kind of how your grad experience was. Because didn't you work for a time before you went to grad school?
Same place I am now. Which also I suggest that even especially if you're looking for a job in like the States or in Canada or the UK, wherever you are, as an international student, it can be very you have a lot going against you. Um, it can be kind of difficult to find like not only a job, also visa situations and stuff. So I also recommend looking within your network because that's actually how I got the job I'm at now is like from Bahamian network of people who lived and worked in LA. So Bahamians are everywhere. See if you can find someone where you're looking, and they probably will be able to help you out, even if it's just a conversation, and giving you some advice. Um, so my grad experience was really quick. It was like a 1 year master's program at Columbia in New York. It was really good. It was fun. I learned a lot. I did a lot of studying on like post-colonial Caribbean literature, and my thesis was on this collection of poetry from a Guyanese poet named David Dabadine called Slave Song. Because I'm really interested in portrayals of Caribbean Creole in literature. So I'm studying that and wrote my thesis on that. Um, but yeah, I learned a lot. I lots of being back in school after working for a year was some pros and cons. I felt like, oh, now I'm back in school. I got to study. You have to go to school and then come back and home and do more work instead of just like a 9 to 5. But I was also grateful to be in an environment of learning and curiosity again. I just like being around people who are really interested in different in their topic and their subject. Because when you're in grad school, like you have to be like you're there for a reason, kind of, and so everyone's interested
Yeah.
in what they're learning and learning from those people who are experts in their field. Um, that was really rewarding for me. I think that was the most rewarding part, just being in that kind of like intellectually stimulating environment
Yeah.
again.
A
Yeah.
sense of purpose. Yeah.
hmm
And I guess now post grad, you feel like you're really utilizing those skills.
I do. I do a lot of because I at the job I work at, I do a lot of like promoting and advertising and communication for like the films that we're producing and distributing in the States and in the Bahamas and general Caribbean as well, Trinidad and all these different and all kind of Caribbean places. So yeah, I do a lot of like writing and editing and communication there. I also do a lot of skills that I um like I've learning on the like learning after grad like
Yeah.
graphic design, making pitch decks to send to investors to
Mm,
have them interested in our films. So yeah, I think it's a balance. I mean, I'm always glad to use the skills I learned in grad school and undergrad, but also it's always fun to learn new skills on the job and
right.
add them
Right.
to your repertoire. Yeah.
Very cool. I think we'll wrap up our first installment there.
Yay! What already?
It was just the first, like I said, the first one. First one maybe,
Yes, very
and
true.
I'll have part two sometime when I get better at this whole interviewing thing.
No, that's why I said I have to interview you because I kept wanting to be like, "What about you?" And I'm like, "Oh wait, this is
Oh.
I can't say that right now." But I'll save that for when I got you in the hot seat.
Okay, yeah. I guess one last thing is I guess we are targeting on scholars who are in college, so just a quick message to them, maybe that you would have.
Okay, let me think. Closing words of um. I'd say one thing I'd say I want to give like end this with something I talked about earlier, is just giving yourself grace. I mean, I feel like in today's world, there's so much urgency and everything's so serious, and you have to think so hard about everything, which is good. But, you're still a person with, emotions and feelings and limits. And so, yes, do all the studying, do all the preparation, all the career work, etc. But also make time to for yourself. I like to think about like doing everything. Oh, that's a quote that I like. I don't remember it right now. But kind of doing all that you can do today and then having some time for yourself and then anything else that's for tomorrow. There's so much hustle culture which is beneficial, but don't get so caught up that you forget about taking care of yourself. That's what I like to say.
Very nice and living life.
Living life.
Yeah.
This is my sunglasses.
Oh,
Chilling on the beach.
you do have
I
my,
can't wait to
yeah.
come home in 2 weeks. I'm gonna be chilling on the beach.
We're gonna be looking forward to having you.
Thank
Is
you.
always welcomes us back.